This is day 45 of journeying my life every single day on the internet until I graduate. And today I had a test for English that would be the final test of my high school and probably the final test, like written test that I ever do for the rest of my life. So kind of a big moment, but to be honest, I didn't feel much. But in the lead up to the test, I did realize something really important, which is that it's really, really important to have good sleep. And I think this is really obvious, everyone says this, but I didn't really understand it until I really focused on my mood on days after I did not sleep well. So I feel like unconsciously or subconsciously, we just respond worse to things when we don't have enough sleep, even if we don't necessarily realize that the sleep is the problem that is causing it. For example, usually I am quite down to do work, especially if it's writing. So I really like writing for subjects like philosophy, like English, and sometimes even for French. I enjoy those subjects. If you tell me to do math, even on a good day, I probably whatever. And especially I like writing for business related things. So right now for my business, I need to develop a level plan for each of the kind of student levels, progressions for my students, for my badminton students. And I'm really excited to write that, especially since today I had decent sleep. But over the last couple of days, I haven't been sleeping super well. I've kind of just done whatever. I read manga till quite late at night, and subconsciously that has affected my ability to focus on my work or to even want to work in the first place. And I feel like this is a really important point for people who are looking to try to work in such a way that they enjoy the work they do. I'm not really forcing myself to do these kind of works. I'm just doing what I really want to, and in the moment sometimes it does become work, and that's the thing I'm trying to maximize for. If work becomes play in a very general sense, then I think it'd be really easy for me to spend a lot of time working, and therefore I'll be able to achieve my goals while also enjoy the process of reaching my goals. Anyway, big tangent aside, I realized that sleeping makes it a lot easier for me to get into that state where I want to work. So from now on, I think it'll be really important for me to focus on my sleep. So a couple of ideas. I've noticed that every time I get quite a few good days of sleep strung together, the next day it becomes easier to go to bed early. Pretty obvious because your rhythm's adjusted to the earlier sleep and waking time. And for me, I tend to work better if I wake up early in the morning and then work. I don't really want to work at night. To be honest, I'm kind of capping because today's 11 p.m. already when I'm uploading this video. So clearly not the best. But the plan is that I'm going to try to string days together, and the biggest things that have in the past stopped me from stringing these days together is one, if a bunch of my friends get on video games like League or whatever, then I tend to get on with them because and then I end up not sticking to my kind of sleep plan, and then one bad day turns to 2 bad days and to 3 bad days, etc., and then it gets worse and worse. And I'm sure you can relate to this as well, whether it be League or some other some other hobby that you have. Because I think that's the same thing when you watch anime. You watch an anime episode, there's only 4 more episodes left of the season, and those 4 episodes finish, and it's another season. Okay, maybe I'll watch a couple episodes of that, and then you get so tired that you end up sleeping, and the next night you're oh shit, there's this whole other season that I can watch, and you watch, oh no, it's too late, I need to go to bed, I don't really enjoy watching anymore in the moment, so I'm gonna go sleep. And then the next night, you also have to stay up late, and then it kind of just keeps on building. And then at one point, you get so used to sleeping late that sleeping early becomes difficult. And then the next day, when you do end up waking up early, you feel so shit that you push everything off till the end of the night, and you're I have to do work again. And then it's a negative cycle that keeps on going. But anyway, suffice it to say, I'm going to try my very best to not start this cycle. And if I do start the cycle, my solution to it will be I tank one day of work, not completely tank it, but I will have less things, and I will force myself, if I don't complete my work by 7 p.m. to push that work to the next day when I'll be more productive and more willing to work when I have good sleep.